On this day in history, January 27th, 98 AD, Trajan succeeds his adoptive father, Nerva, as Roman emperor. Under his rule, the Roman Empire will reach its maximum extent. Included in the following is an excerpt from the 1944 edition of the Encyclopaedia Britannica, going over the life of Trajan. Trajan, Marcus Ulpius Trajanus, born 53 AD, died 117. Roman Emperor, was born at Ithaca in Spain on September 18, 53 AD. The family to which he belonged was probably Italian by blood. His father began as a common legionary soldier and fought his way up to the consulship and the governorship of Asia. The younger Trajan was a soldier born and bred. For 10 years he was a military tribune, serving all over the empire. Then he held important posts in Syria and Spain. By 89 he had a considerable military reputation. In that year he was ordered from further Spain to the Rhine to deal with the revolt of Saturninus. He covered the distance very quickly, but the rebellion had been crushed before his arrival. He was consul in 91. Nerva, on his ascension, made him consular legate of Upper Germany, and on the advice of L. Licinius Sura, adopted him as his son and successor on October 27, 97. The Senate confirmed the choice and acknowledged him as successor. Trajan at that time was in Germany. Shortly afterwards, at Cologne, he received news of the emperor's death, January 25, 98. Trajan's authority was at once acknowledged all over the empire. He gave the Senate an assurance like that given by Nerva, that he would neither kill nor degrade any senator, and ordered the foundation of a temple and cult in honor of his adoptive father. But he did not come to Rome till he had inspected the Rhine-Danube frontier. The Praetorians, who had been a menace to Nerva, were quickly overawed, and he proceeded to make his long-awaited entry into Rome. Here he at once made himself popular with both Senate and the people. Soon afterwards he left for his first Dacian campaign. It would appear that Trajan himself wrote an account of this war, but only one sentence has survived. We are left with the evidence of Trajan's column and the monuments at Adamclisi. This much may be said. Roman prestige and security were threatened by the terms of peace exacted by Decebalus from Domitian. Trajan took the initiative in 101. His advance, more or less unopposed at first, ended in an indecisive battle at Tepe, at the entrance to the Iron Gate Pass. Trajan retired to winter on the Danube. The winter seems to have been disturbed by a raid by the Dacians and Roxolani into Moesia. The next spring, Trajan invaded Dacia again. His advance ended in an attack on a stronghold, identified as Monsocetate, and a complete victory near Costes. Decebalus surrendered. A garrison was left at Sarmiz-Getsua, and Trajan withdrew. In 105, Decebalus revolted, and again, probably, invaded Moesia. Trajan started at once from Ancona, and seems to have spent the first season in Moesia, making his way to his bridge at Pontes, and wintering there. The next year, 106, after prolonged and desperate fighting, Sarmiz-Getsua was taken, and Decebalus committed suicide. Dacia was annexed, the capital became a colony, Ulpia Traiana, and the new province was gradually Romanized in the usual way. There followed 7 years of peace, broken at last by war with Parthia. The casus belli was the appointment by the new king of Parthia, Khosrow, of a nephew to the throne of Armenia, without the customary application to Rome, but there must have been something behind that, for Khosrow's instant apology failed to placate Trajan. There were 3 campaigns. The first, 114, resulted in the annexation of Armenia, almost without opposition. The next year, still without much fighting. Trajan occupied Mesopotamia up to the Tigris. There he halted and went to Antioch for the winter. In 116 he first marched through Edessa and Nisibis, forced the passage of the Tigris without difficulty, and annexed Adia Bene, which became the province of Assyria. Then he turned down the Tigris to Ctesiphon. Khosrow fled, and Trajan went on downstream to the shores of the Persian Gulf, where he looked over the waters to India and said sadly, "If only I were younger." The captured territory became the province of Parthia. Then, on his way back, the trouble started. Before the end of the year, a serious rising in the north had to be crushed, and the Parthians were threatening a counterattack. Trajan decided to abandon Lower Mesopotamia, installed the young prince Parthmasites as the king in Ctesiphon, and withdrew, not without trouble on the way. Meanwhile, the Jews all over the east had risen and massacred everyone they could find, Greeks and Romans alike. Trajan, alarmed by this and other signs of trouble all over the empire, set out for Rome. He died on the way, at Selinus in Cilicia, on August 8, 117. His reign closes ominously. While he had been in the east, trouble had started in Africa, Egypt, Libya, Palestine, Sarmatia, Britain. He was deified, of course, and his triumph was celebrated after his death. Trajan's reign takes one more long step towards complete despotism, which we shall see when we consider the provinces. For Italy, Trajan did much. His new forum was the glory of Rome. There are columns and triumphal arches to commemorate his victories. He reclaimed the Campagna, built new harbors at Ostia, Centum Celle, and Ancona, built roads and aqueducts, and tried to arrest the decline of Italy in agriculture and manpower by extending the alimenta system of Nerva, forbidding emigration, encouraging settlements of the imperial lands, making senators invest in real estate in Italy, and so on. His provincial administration is a little less easy to surmise. In intention, it was excellent, but his long absence in the east led to difficulties. Numerous prosecutions for extortion show the extent of the evil and the emperor's efforts to stop it. This reign sees also a new phenomenon, the breakdown of local government on the financial side. Various municipalities have to receive curators, and the province of Bithynia and the free cities of Achaia had their financial administration taken over by imperial correctores. Pliny was sent to Bithynia, and his letters to Trajan and the replies are preserved. In the enormous mass of detail referred to the emperor we can see foreshadowed the complete centralization that was to come under Diocletian. Mention must also be made of the view that Trajan's wars were completely disastrous to the empire, overstraining its manpower and economic strength irrevocably.